Welcome to the Monday show. As you can see, we got Tyler in a remote location. We got Hutch on. We got Conan here. This is going to be a wild show. I'm excited. A lot of big news today. But first, we have to go over the monetization's been turned on, right, Tyler? Ads, super chats. I don't know much about this stuff.
Yeah. So I'm probably not going to talk too much during the show because I'm in the middle of nowhere and the internet is bad. There are minimal people here. There are lots of things going on. But yeah, no, the monetization was turned on. So yeah, you can take a look at that. And I suggest doing that. The super chat is active. So if you want to give me money, you can do a super chat. And I would really appreciate that. And then there will be memberships to the YouTube. But I haven't set those up yet. They unlocked it, I believe, yesterday. So I haven't had the opportunity to decide what I'm going to make a part of that. I want to try to see if I can come up with anything that's distinct for my Patreon, because I'm not just going to create a membership option just for the sake of it. So I'll see if I can come up with anything that I feel like is worth it. Or I might just use it like I use the super follow on Twitter, which is that there really isn't much, but it's just another tip jar. So we'll see. I'll see what I can come up with.
Yeah, we'll see. But let's catch up with everyone. Hutch, what have you been up to lately? Since you're the guest.
Not crazy much lately. I mean, recently I hit 5,000 followers on Twitter about a week ago.
Let's go.
Let's go.
And then a couple days ago, me and my girlfriend passed 3 months together. So
awesome.
Cool.
Those are some big milestones.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Gotta draft yourself a fantasy team to celebrate.
Yeah.
I was about to say best ball, but I realized what we were talking about beforehand.
Yeah, I take it on Underdog.
Soon.
Yeah, soon.
We should start a petition. I was going to say we should start a petition to let 16 and over for Underdog, so guys like my dude Hutch here can get on.
Yeah, if they made a rule for COD champs, they could certainly make a rule for gambling. Like, what's the difference?
Well, yeah. Really, like, what's the difference between a $5 best ball team and a $5 Fortnite skin? Like, come on, like the kids can spend money online any other way.
You know what's different? The ROI, the return on investment.
Exactly. No, I'm doing well myself. I was actually at the Patriots training camp this morning watching the fellas practice, and it was really cool just seeing them run through so many different drills just in that hour and a half, 2 hour span of practice. Everything was just right down to the minute. It's like 7 to 10 minutes per drill, then they move on to the next one, and it's just methodical. And you see Bill making his rounds, walking around, and it was really cool, seeing Mac throw to his new addition, Devontae, making some big catches in the corner, going deep, and so it was a lot of fun. So that's how I started my morning off, and now I'm ready to just kind of talk some news, some off-season, training camp hype and buzz and whatnot, and just talk football.
You got any insider info for us?
Well, there was all that. There were all those rumors with the Ramondre is now like he's mixing in with the ones over Damian. I didn't see a lot of that. It was definitely Damian getting the first crack in just first team offense drills, 7s, 11s, stuff like that. But Ramondre was definitely mixing in. One thing I did see was I didn't see Pierre Strong out there. I don't know. I didn't look up if he was injured or something else. But Kevin Harris was out there, which I thought was interesting. And yeah, it was fun just kind of seeing the variety of different things that each position group does. They don't mix in until 30 minutes in, and then they mix in for 10 minutes for one drill, and then they're back separate doing their own thing, and then they're back for another 10. It was really cool to watch. And I saw the guy Bailey Zappi. He was throwing it around. He looked like he was a quick little, he was very mobile. I saw him scramble a bunch of times in drills where we're not used to that from our quarterback here.
Yeah.
So. But yeah,
That's some good stuff. You guys are, living the dream.
It's a very different skyline. It's not your.
Right, now you're actually in the middle of nowhere because you would build this road last time. Now it's the middle of nowhere.
Are you on the next to a highway?
There are actually many cars, but there are things going on. I think it's a very interesting perspective.
All right,
it is. It does look like a highway. Hutch is right. I see the road sign right now.
Yeah, there are road signs. There are cranes. It's very interesting.
It looks like a highway.
So, I thought you were going to say something. I was going to get into the news because we have some huge news today. We've been kind of talking about this forever now. It seems like with Deshawn Watson getting 6 games, the NFL has 3 days to appeal it. So
give it 3 days.
Yeah, 3 days.
BJ commented. I think I might have to agree with him. The NFL doesn't do enough. But I do. The NFL doesn't do enough, but it's just Calvin Ridley got a year for the integrity of the game.
That was the immediate reaction actually in my group chat when I saw the Watson official news of the suspension. I sent it to some of my friends, and the immediate first response was, "And Ridley got a whole year," and you can't help but think that's downright crazy.
Continue.
There you go.
I tweeted this morning. Calvin Ridley bet $1,500 on the game, 1 year suspension. Josh Gordon broke the TV rules in 2019 and was indefinite suspension and hasn't played football until this season. And then Colin Kaepernick kneeled during the national anthem, basically exiled from the NFL. And we've seen tons of other stories of NFL players abusing or sexually assaulting women and not really getting the right punishment for it. And it's just history repeats. It's just happening again. It's just really frustrating. And it's so funny though because DeAndre Hopkins just broke the PED rules, got suspended the same amount of games as a guy who has 20 plus lawsuits against him for sexual misconduct. That's just crazy to think about. I think it's honestly a bit crazy. But
it is.
Yeah. It's one of those things that the league has never really dealt with appropriately. Obviously we were hoping for change. We were hoping they came down in a way they hadn't really shown they could before, and they had before, but we kind of got confirmation that no, it's still kind of it's the same old NFL. These DV, sexual assault, all these different things. They're still just a slap on the wrist, which is just so crazy. I agree with everything you said. Yeah. It's just you see the other things that players get the same amount of games for, and you're like, wow, or more games, exactly.
Yeah. It's not too to watch, but it's not good.
Mm-hmm.
It's not too late, It's not too late for them to change it.
Appeal and fix it, but still, I don't. Based on history, I don't think they will. I don't think there will be.
They will. They will.
I don't. I'm looking over here. I'm on the right side of my monitor. I was looking up the Greg Hardy situation because I remember that one vividly, 6 or 7 years ago. He got his actually reduced after one of these cases from 10 to 4 games. And now he has a UFC career. Thank goodness he's getting knocked out over there. But it's just, the NFL just doesn't handle these things well.
No, they never have. And we were really hoping, in that would change finally with something, blown way bigger proportion than most other things in the past involving similar situations. And it's no, we're still just right back to where we are and we were. It's sad.
It's kind of like we're stepping back in time. We finally starting other places in the world started finally to see maybe a little bit more change, maybe a little bit of hope, and then this is just taking that step back. We're going back in time again. It's just really frustrating.
Microcosm of America.
Did any of you watch any of the 29 minutes I recorded on this already? I talked about it. I said that the NFL really needs to come down hard on Deshaun Watson. They didn't. We'll see if they listen to me. But you can go watch the video. I think I was pretty harsh,
I did see
about
it.
it.
Yeah.
And I would just say that, it's very simple to think about it, right? I mean, at the end of the day, he's going to come back and play football again. But you just have to think about what side of history you want to be on. And look, 27,000 followers is not that many in the grand scheme of things. It's a low number, but it's enough that maybe something I say will be remembered. And for those reasons, I want to be on the right side of history instead of the wrong one. And I think that we're going to look back and we're going to look back at this and be like, well, how did the NFL let this, let it slide? Or, how did the public let it slide? Because what's going to happen. I mean, it. I know it. I said it earlier. People, once we get back to playing football, people are going to let it go. They're going to forget about it. They're going to move on to other things. They're going to move on to being fans of the Browns or fantasy football. And I'll never let it go. I'll never let it go. If you read the key points in Judge Robinson's decision, she said that essentially that he was guilty. I mean, that's what she said. She said that he was guilty. She just has a different opinion, a ridiculous opinion. And I think, by the way, this will be the only case she ever hears. I will say, I think the NFL will exercise their right, another right that they have in this CBA that they're going to exercise. You don't put rights in a collective bargaining agreement if you're not prepared to exercise them. That's why you have a collective bargaining agreement. They bargain for these rights and they have the right to exercise them. I think this is the only case she'll ever hear. I think they will take their right to fire her and replace her with someone else, anyone else, because her ruling was terrible. And I don't think she ever hears another case. So, they have that right as well. I mean, after a certain period of time, which it's already been almost at this point, it's a 2-year period. It doesn't matter that she only heard one case. It's been 2 years since the CBA was signed. They can replace her. And I think they will exercise their right to replace her. So, no, basically she said that he's guilty. So, I don't know why my opinion would change.
Basically say that he's guilty of what he was accused of, and then still ended up saying, oh, you're going to be suspended 6 games. Like, it was kind of weird.
Yeah, basically, that's what happened.
Yeah, definitely weird. I mean, I guess we have to talk about the fantasy aspect of this a little bit for what it does. I know we don't like to do this, but we have to do this. I
mean, I recorded a podcast. I literally recorded an episode for my podcast this morning. That's going to post tomorrow, and I was just talking about it, Deshawn Watson, and I've said it on this show a lot. I've said it on my podcast multiple times. I don't think we see the same Deshawn Watson that we did in Houston, at least for this year, if not ever. So I honestly don't see Deshawn Watson bringing a humongous upgrade to this offense. Like, I still see this offense, even with Deshaun Watson playing, being a maybe slightly above average offense, and that's it.
I mean, it's obviously going to be better than what they have.
Amari Cooper moved up like 2 spots in my rankings, and then the running backs each moved up like a spot or 2. Like, that's it. Like, no one, and Deshaun Watson's like my quarterback 24. Like, I'm just like,
yeah. I mean, I think it definitely kind of impacts the way I view the weapons a little bit more than him specifically. I just had Amari and Njoku, just offensive weapons besides the running backs, just so far buried. I did not like any part of just Jacoby Brissett throwing to them all year. So kind of hearing this, it's definitely gonna be better than that. And obviously it's been 2 years since he's played football or whatever, but he last time we saw him, he's still, he's a top 5 quarterback. The last time we've seen him really play a full season and just, so I'd like to kind of go kind of in the middle. I don't expect him to come back and just immediately be a top 5 quarterback, but I don't think that when he comes back and plays, he's the 24th best quarterback in the league, whether that's fantasy or just not. But so, I think if I had to rank him, he'd be in the teens somewhere, kind of baking in that 6 games, but also thinking about we've seen this guy be elite. we've seen him be a real difference maker, like the number 2 quarterback in fantasy, like at least a year or two or something, I believe. And, you know, he doesn't have his Hopkins or his Fuller, but, you know, they could sign Will Fuller any day. They could, you know, so I said, I called it last show. I said Julio somewhere that would really make him relevant. He went to the Bucs the next day. Maybe Fuller goes back to, or, you know, Deshawn, now that he's suspended for 6 games, he knows he has him, something like that. I wouldn't be that surprised. Like, would you guys be surprised if Will Fuller all of a sudden tomorrow he's signing a 1-year deal with the Browns?
No, I wouldn't be surprised.
Not in the slightest, right? So, you know, yeah. So, I mean, it's tricky. Like you said, we don't like to really talk about it after all we've been through talking about it for months and months and years at this point. Yeah. Like, but I think it's a concern that he could actually still just be like the same player he almost was. And that's absolutely
outcomes.
But I'm not going to rank. Yeah, I'm not going to expect
I don't see that happening. I don't expect that to happen after all, everything we've talked about, everything he's gone through these last 2 seasons, not playing football, not working out with his teams, all the arguments he's had with other teams. I just don't see a world where he comes in this season and is that guy. I just don't see how he can overcome all those mental bounds, all those physical bounds, all those physical obstacles that he went through the past couple of years and just come right back in and do it again. I just don't see it. I feel like that would be a very unrealistic outcome, honestly. But there's definitely a world, because I mean, we saw Michael Vick do it. He was suspended for a while, he came back and boom, just right back in. He was great. We've seen guys do it like that before. I just don't believe in Deshaun Watson coming back and doing it. But I don't
want to. You know, I don't want to, but I'm worried. I'm worried about all those people that took Deshaun super duper duper late, not thinking he was going to play whatsoever this year, and now he's just going to be elite when he comes back somehow. And
he's got fishbowl.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's interesting.
So it is.
Offense, though,
but that's the risk.
Yeah, that's the risk. For this offense, though, I love Kareem Hunt in this offense still, no matter what. I mean, I think
you've been the Hunt guy.
I've always been the Hunt guy. I've been very in on Hunt. Otherwise, though, I'm kind of still out on this offense. I'm not really drafting anybody else.
Yeah.
I mean, I agree with you. I've been drafting Njoku a lot late because I just love the athletic upside. Hooper's gone.
Yeah.
I mean, he has to break out soon, right? They have to use him now. They paid him. Come on.
Yeah, they paid him.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just Njoku is just just the worst, and I don't want to draft. He's just disappointed so many years, and I'm like, man.
But his ADP reflects that, so it's okay.
ADP reflects that, so I'll definitely get my dart throws on Njoku occasionally, but yeah, Kareem Hunt's really the only guy I'm targeting in this offense. The rest are just whatever. I'm just fading.
Nick Chubb's ADP is way too high.
DPJ is getting a lot of hype right now in training camp. Donovan Peoples-Jones.
I mean, that's fine.
He's been. No, I know. I don't think it matters for fantasy, but
does not matter.
Will can sign there tomorrow. Maybe he was waiting for the suspension.
I will say it's more interesting for a very late best ball pick. Obviously, now that we know that Deshaun will be playing, 10, 11 games or whatever.
We don't know that. We don't know that. I mean, what if it's appealed? Then it becomes 12 games.
No, I'm just all I'm saying is, if you needed one spike week out of 10 games, who'd you rather the quarterback be, Jacoby or Deshaun Watson? I guess that's how I phrased it.
Nobody would rather it be Jacoby Brissett.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying I'm not. It's just it's more intriguing. I've seen him late, and I'm like, can he really blow up for 20 points with Jacoby in week 14 randomly for me? Is he going to do that? Now it's he could. We've seen him. The team seems to like him. He's getting some buzz, whatever. I'm not expecting any type of consistency, but I'm sure he had one game with a long touchdown or two last year, and it's helped you in best ball that 1 week, and that's all you need in round 19 in best ball.
Yeah. All right. So we want to move on. We spent 20 minutes on Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, let's move. Let's move on.
Do it.
I mean,
We got a lot.
We had to spend more time than we usually do because of the ruling today, but
yeah.
I'd spent more time than that on my show. I mean, to be fair, if I had actually, I would have done the solo show anyway, even if I was going to be here for the, like, in realistically for the show and not this way. But, you know, I think we should, here's what I would say. I think we should move on. And I think that, you know, I'll just say that, like I said before, remember that my memory is long. I don't forget. And, you know, I got some very nice compliments on my video that I did earlier, that I don't go for the bullshit. I don't pull my punches. I'm not like, I want to please everybody. Like, no. Like, Deshawn Watson is a terrible person. I said it on the show earlier. I stand by it, and I won't back down. And that's it. If you want to stop watching the show because I feel that way, turn it off. It's not going to change. And we can move on.
Yeah, let's move on. I mean,
let's do it.
I wanted to say we're getting into lighter news, but we're not. We have to cover Chris Carson's retirement real quick. I'm just happy that the Seahawks did him right with the injury clause, so now he's going to get his money. He still wants to play football. It's sad, but he had a good career. I respect the guy.
Yeah, it's just injuries kind of messed him up a lot of his career, but when he was on the field, he was a good player, and I'm glad he got his money too at the end. They gave him his money there. That was definitely something that should have happened.
Yeah, no, he deserved it. He was you know, he had a couple stretches where he was elite for them, you know, pounding through and being their lead guy. So
yeah,
obviously a neck injury is very scary, just nothing you want to mess with. And so I'm glad he's taking care of himself, one, and I'm glad the team is taking care of him how they can. So
that's the one thing they do right.
Mm-hmm.
They've done that. They've done right by several players. I mean, they don't do much else right in recent times with their team, but
well, let's not get me started. Let's not get me started with the Seattle Seahawks. We know that they are incompetent. How incompetent they are, but they pale in comparison to the Bears.
The Seattle Sea Bears.
The Seattle Seahawks are just so incompetent. You know, they think that we should go back to the 1960s. They and the NFL have a lot in common. They feel that way. That's what they want. They want to go back to the 1960s. They want to, you know, run the ball constantly, even though they're not very good at it. And, you know, it's going to be a problem. But I do think that one thing they have done most of the time, not for everyone, not for Earl Thomas, but just remember, it's not everyone.
Well, he gave him the middle finger as he walked out got carved off the field.
And I think I would have given them the middle finger if I'd been him. But let's just remember that Chris Carson was one of my favorite, actually, fantasy players. I loved him. And I'm going to miss him. But he's not dead. I mean, I feel like I'm talking like he's dead, but he's not dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, true. I mean, the Seahawks did do something right this week, though. They re-signed DK Metcalf.
Yeah. Sure. You should watch my videos. I did my videos. I did a lot of videos, extra videos this week.
You have what,
I did
five
extra. Yeah, yep. 5 extra.
Yeah, I mean, keeps him around. I think he's in Dynasty. When we had the superlatives episode, I don't know if you guys got to it. I didn't reach the end of it, but DK was a Dynasty buy for me. We're not that far removed from him being like the number one Dynasty receiver, like literally the beginning of last year or something. Like he was the number one Dynasty wide receiver in a lot of circles, like midway through last year, beginning of the year before. Like we're not too far removed from that. And all of a sudden, you know, obviously he's gotten a massive QB downgrade going to Geno or Drew, but it's like he's still massively talented. He is massive.
And they got They got their first round pick for 2023. They're going to be a horrible team. They're going to have one of the top picks. They're going to get a quarterback. And this 2023 this 2023 quarterback class is looking really special. They're going to be able to find somebody that they want.
Love you, Q.
I mean, DK Metcalf is one move away from being like the Dynasty wide receiver 3 or 4 again. If they get Bryce Young or CJ Stroud, DK Metcalf's going to be up
That's
there
what
again.
I'm saying. And he's been slipping. I don't know where he is on a lot of places, but I'm assuming he's like outside of the top 10 or something, or like near 10 or 12 or something at this point.
Yeah, that's
Right?
where he is in most dynasty rankings that I see. He's usually out to the top 10 wide receivers.
Which is like, he was in the top 5 firmly for a year or two, starting 2020 or so, whatever. So, if you can still get him for higher end wide receiver 2 price, wide receiver, just normal wide receiver 2 price, it's like, go for it.
As a smash. I'd be even buying at low wide receiver 1 because
exactly.
Like Hutch said, they're going to be terrible.
Yeah, I'm out for this year though. I'm not I'm
in at ADP, dude. I can't.
After a couple years of playing fantasy, I've just learned that
bad offenses.
When you target wide receivers, you want to look at guys with good quarterbacks. And I just find myself the DJ Moores, Terry McLaurin's, DK Metcalf's of the world. I just find myself liking other guys so much better because the offense is better, the quarterbacks are better. Because when you have a quarterback like Drew Lock, when you have a quarterback like Carson Wentz, when you have a quarterback like a Geno Smith or somebody like that, just a really bad quarterback, it just caps your upside, especially in the touchdown range, so much.
I think it's always a valid argument, but it's always you're not getting the one for Burrow in the same place as you're getting the one for Drew Lock. It's you're getting the 2 or the 3 for the good quarterback or the 1 for a bad quarterback. And that's where you have to decide, do you want more opportunity?
Metcalf in most drafts I see. And I know Tyler is going to say Courtland Sutton's a failure. But I would.
Oh, is he? Is he going to say that? Tyler is stuck on portrait mode. Tyler's not letting me. Tyler is stuck. See, he's trying to go to landscape and there we go.
There you go.
Fucking finally, fuck this. I'm tired of my fucking phone. Oh my god, YouTube is gonna turn off the monetization on this video just for that. I don't fucking care. They give me 10 cents a fucking video. That's all I fucking feel like this is worth. So, you go fuck yourself. No, I'm kidding.
Jesus,
I'm kidding. I love you. God. I love you, YouTube. You're very nice to me. You're my favorite. You're my favorite platform. Totally my favorite. Everything about you is great. No, don't turn it off. What were we talking about?
Courtland Sutton versus DK, I think.
Wow! They have nothing
I was saying I'd rather.
They have nothing in common at all.
No. Just in terms of who you would rather have for this year.
Yes.
Well, one of those 2 players is actually still good. The other one is totally washed up. Why would I want washed up? I don't want that. I don't want Courtland Sutton. Courtland Sutton sucks. When Jerry Jeudy came back, we know. We know what happened. Jerry Jeudy came back, and then he went. Yeah, it's funny. You could say you blame the injury all you like, right? But the good games were at the beginning. Why were the good games at the beginning? Jerry Jeudy comes back. He should be healthier. Sutton should be healthier. He should be playing well. He didn't play so well. He had 4 PPR points per game. 4. It was the worst starting 2 wide receiver in the league. That bad. It's terrible. Terrible. Never got open. Never did anything. Terrible in every way. Tim Patrick was better. And Jeudy struggled, but he was still better over that period of time. So I don't know. I don't know why I would want Courtland Sutton. He's, to me, he's overrated. But someone asked me a question. And then, I all this stuff I do is funny, right? It's funny, it's good content. But someone asked me a question on Twitter. They were like, who's the player you're the most scared of being wrong about? And it is Courtland Sutton. Because he was good. It wasn't that long ago.
Yeah, it was 2 years ago.
But
so you accept he could smash, but you're strongly against it.
I have opposition. Let's just say that. I have opposition.
Yeah.
I don't believe that Russell Wilson is the heal-all salve that some people do. And maybe I'm not as high on him as others. And I would say that I don't believe in Courtland Sutton. And the only thing Courtland Sutton and DK Metcalf have in common is the way that they, their body. And not really because
3+.
Yeah. And not really because DK Metcalf is in far better shape than Courtland Sutton will ever be. So
I think that's an unfair comparison looking at DK.
DK Metcalf is
DK Metcalf to any human being.
DK Metcalf to any human being is not fair.
Starbursts and
gummies,
cereal,
coffee,
and gummy worms, and this is what he looks like. So I don't think we're gonna
and
have
coffee.
anything. Well, I love that one.
interview.
Coffee,
that interview. Yeah, I mean, we're there, right there with you, Chris.
It's a joke.
We're right there with you.
I think if I were the NFL, I would exercise my option to fire Judge Robinson. You know, they say, oh, you can't fire the judge because you don't like her decision, but actually you can. In this case, you can. You can fire her if you don't like her decision. I would do that. I would fire her because I didn't like her decision. Yeah, that's probably true. Well, that's a whole other story. The Texans are, they have to settle those lawsuits. Yeah, their number, I know.
Their number 14, yeah.
This is actually okay. This is a good point. You guys should probably talk about this.
Yeah, we will. It's tough.
Well, what do you think?
I don't think you convinced Russ to come. Yeah. Right? Yeah, I think Hutch and I were about to say the same exact thing.
Yes, because Russ has been frustrated for years because he has never been able to cook in the Seattle offense. You don't trade for Russ to not use him like as a game manager. I don't feel like they're going to trade for him, use him as a game manager because the Seattle Seahawks, as Tyler said earlier, play like it's 1960. They want to run the ball into the ground, not use their quarterback. I feel like the Denver Broncos bringing in these wide receivers, bringing in Jerry Jeudy recently in the draft, bringing in Quote Son a few years ago, signing him to a big contract, signing Tim Patrick, bringing in Russell Wilson. They're putting it all together to have Hamler too recently in the draft. They want to have a pass-heavy offense. They want to have a lights-out scoring offense. They want to get the fans interested. They want to get the fans engaged. I feel like this is going to be something that I feel like Russell Wilson is going to finally be able to cook. And I feel like he's going to be able to do that with his receivers. And I feel like Courtland Sutton's going to be a big part of that. Because all these coaching staff are like, these are not the guys that invested in Jerry Jeudy in the draft. These are not the guys that went in on Jerry Jeudy. And Jerry Jeudy so far has not proven very much. Courtland Sutton has had a great season.
It's the same coaching staff that didn't. It's not the one that drafted Courtland Sutton either.
Yeah, but Sutton's had a great season with them. Jerry Jeudy hasn't done that.
3 years ago. 3 years ago.
Yeah.
It's a long time, so I don't know. We'll have to see. He has all the raw traits, but it doesn't. Those raw traits haven't really. And even his. I think people remember Courtland Sutton's 2019 season as being a lot better than it really was. He was like the wide receiver 26.
Yeah, no, he had like 1,007 or something like that,
yeah,
or 1,100.
He was horrifically inefficient. Like he wasn't that good. There was a lot of volume, didn't do much with it because there were no other options. Again, when did he succeed in 2021? Not efficient,
in air yards,
horrific, with no other options.
Mm-hmm.
Every time there's been other options, nothing. He's done nothing.
Yeah,
he didn't succeed in 2019 until they traded away Demaryius Thomas, what did they do? Yeah, Emmanuel Sanders. They traded away Emmanuel Sanders in the middle of the season.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not getting in the Sutton versus Jeudy about weapons. I think going back to this question, it's like I agree with mostly what Hutch said, where it's like I don't think you bring him in to have him throw 25 times a game when he's been pissed off and frustrated at where he's been and only being allowed to do exactly that. And I think it's like, I kind of look at it similar, obviously different positions, but it's like Philly bringing in AJ Brown. It's like, I don't think you do that to run the ball 65% of the time again. I think it's a clear effort that, hey, we want to pass more. We're going to bring this guy in. It's like, obviously quarterback is way more important to that, but I think it's like even more. It's like we brought this guy in. They've been the team for 2-3 years. It's like they're a quarterback away. They're a quarterback away. And it's like, we're going to see that because I do think he's still a top 10, 12 quarterback in the league. I don't think that's that much of a debate, right? And it's like they do have the offensive weapons. They have a great defense, and it's like if they're really a quarterback away, I think. They could be, and I think they're kind of like a sneaky pick for like, honestly, Russ MVP, Broncos Super Bowl, like sneaky little picks like that, futures. So, I mean, you saw the success we had. We saw a good quarterback going to a team with weapons last year. They won the Super Bowl, and so we'll see if history, repeats itself 2 straight years. I don't know how likely, but that's literally the narrative for three years now. It's like the defense is great. Their weapons are great. They have good young receivers, running back room, even tight ends. It's like they just need someone better than Drew Lock throwing the ball. And it's like, you got Russ now. Are you going to let him only throw the ball 25 times? It's
they could find anyone better than Drew Lock. I mean, that's not really a
but
high
they
bar.
didn't for 3 years.
Well,
it's like he kept coming back, and
they had the opportunity to draft
was a
Justin
lot
Fields
better
and
than
said
Drew
no.
Yeah, and it's
well, that's
it's
their mistake.
crazy.
I mean, Surtain is amazing, so like they didn't make a bad pick, but it was in terms of roster construction, it was bad. But
we'll see.
I mean,
we'll see.
Javonte is the best running back that Russ has had since Marshawn Lynch, so you gotta account for that as well. But 25 seems low. I think it's gonna be in the 30s, maybe 35. It'll be interesting to see how the targets are distributed. I know a lot of people are.
I'm not calling for them to like all of a sudden lead the league because they're gonna flip it for Russ because he was so unhappy. It's like, no, like I don't think they're gonna throw 50 times a game just to please Russ, but I don't think they're gonna like not let him cook after making such a big deal about needing a quarterback for so long. It's like, oh, really? You're going to bring Russ in just to let him be a game manager? It's like, no, like
stranger things have happened.
You're not wrong. It's anything can happen, anything. But I just would be shocked if they didn't let him cook to some degree that we've basically never seen in Seattle.
Yeah, it's just that it just makes sense that that's what's going to happen. It just logically makes sense.
All right.
You want to move on here?
Yeah, we got next. We're gonna get to the comments first, and then we're gonna go back to the show sheet because we skipped over Julio signing with the Bucks. I feel like we had to talk about it in order. I mean, yeah,
yeah.
That's what it's been.
Pretty much, yeah, more or less.
Always be adaptable. Always be adaptable.
I mean, I think one or both of them are gonna be like good. Like I don't think it's gonna be like a one and like one of them's gonna be really good and one of them's gonna be awful. Like I think they're both gonna be pretty good, or like one of them might be really good and one of them still pretty good. Like I don't think it's gonna be that crazy of a separation where you have to pick one and the other one's gonna suck. But like, pick your guy. If Judy is your guy, then go draft him. Like, you're gonna have that option, in the 5th round or whatever, 6th round. And it's usually I know plenty of people. It's just one way or the other. We don't know. We don't know which one's gonna hit. Like, it's just kind of like, who do you like better? Do you value the youth and that separation, or do you value that the one season that we have proof like he's been pretty good and stuff like that? So I don't hate it. Take your shot. Someone's got to be good, I think.
Yeah, I think one of these guys are going to finish as a top 15 wide receiver for fantasy, and I think the other one's going to be left like as a low wide receiver too. Because right now I have Cortland Sutton at wide receiver 14, and then Judy at wide receiver 25. So. I mean, a pretty decent separation there, but I still think both can be good for fantasy. I still think Judy has potential to get higher than that. I think Sutton has potential to get higher than that as well.
Hey, plant your flag. I respect that. That's one thing I respect most about fantasy analysts: planting their flag and then sticking behind it.
Well, I mean,
Alan Lazard, baby, Alan Lazard.
You heard what I said on Ask DLF this week. Let's get rid of this mosquito that's trying to attack me. On Ask DLF this week, I criticized the fantasy community. I said that there are too many analysts who don't say what they believe at all. All they do, we know what they do. They just say whatever they think is going to make them more popular. That's what they do. They don't have any conviction in their takes at all. They just say whatever they think is going to get them more viewers, more ratings. And then you see if you play in leagues with them that they don't stand by those things. They just do whatever, when money's on the line, they suddenly don't live up to what they're talking about. So that's the most important thing, is just to have consistency. Say what you really believe. Don't do the bullshit. Because if you're fake, the audience will see right through it. They'll see right through it. They'll know that you're one of those bullshit artists, and you might last for a few months or a year, but you won't last. You got to be real in order to make it. in this space because the internet is not kind, and they'll find you.
Not kind.
No, it's like what value are we providing if we're just giving you like ESPN PPR ranks, like, and we're like, hey, like this is our ranks, like if you're high on someone, you gotta plant that flag and have them, you don't have to have them in the top 5, like, but Hutch having Sutton at 14, like I'm pretty sure that's definitely a little bit higher than consensus.
Yeah, Sutton's like wide receiver 21, I think. On
so you definitely have him higher, and I'm like, I respect that flag plan. I think I have him. I think around 18 or something like that, like in the late teens, but still a little bit higher because he's my. If I had to pick between him and Judy, like I'm right there with you. Like I think there's a possibility they go crazy, but Tyler will always be here to bring us back down to earth a little bit.
Well. Yes, we need someone realistic on the show. That's why I'm here. That's what I'm here for, is to be realistic. As stunning as this probably is, I'm probably, when it comes to analysis, the least emotional of the 4 of us. Don't get the personality confused with how I do analysis. I'm usually the one who lands closest to consensus. Typically, I'm the consensus defender. I'm the one who's more in with the market. Who deviates from the market less than the rest of us. Even though I'm like emotionally, maybe as a person, a little bit out there. As an analyst, I tend to be the most, I would guess, on the conservative side in terms of making radically different projections. I'll make it if that's where I come to, but I just noticed that in my process, I don't tend to come to a lot of radically different conclusions. I think a lot of what I do is picking between the margins, between the decisions that people are confronting, players who are back-to-back in ADP, helping them make those decisions. I don't tend to recommend wild deviations from the market strategy, because the market gets better and better every year. It's hard to beat it, especially if you're wildly different.
Mm-hmm. No, I mean, I think it's like you kind of need that, because obviously we're, like we talked about, we're gonna like plant our flags and stuff like that. But we also you also don't want to go too far, and that's where you kind of can talk us off the ledge from having Cortland Sutton as my number 3 wide receiver in fantasy or something like that. It's like, all right, too far. And it's like, okay, you need that sometimes though, because you can get really high on someone. Like I want to rank Lazard in my top 15 , but I'm not gonna.
Don't do that. Don't do that. He's terrible. He's a terrible player.
No, not that high. Maybe that's an exaggeration.
I would say I'll be generous. I'll be generous.
Okay.
And say that Allen Lazard maybe is a top 75 real life wide receiver. Maybe.
Okay, but I'm talking about just fantasy.
Right, but how high do you want me to rank a player that I think is that bad? If I think that he's that bad,
my thing. All right, so this is my thing.
If I rank him at 46, which is where I rank him, I'm already ranking him 30 spots better than his talent would dictate.
That's fair, but you're also, if that's where you have him, and that's where like that is like
me, by the way, that's where consensus
exactly. No. 46, 40, 45 to 47 is his consensus right now, and I see that. That is literally his finish from last year. Like, you don't think he's gonna do a little bit better without Devontae? Like, I know he's not being Devontae. He's not getting half of his targets, anything like that.
No,
but I just think there's no way he's going to have the same stat line as he did last year.
Sure, but he also played all the games. I mean, what was he in points per game?
Probably not. I mean, I don't know.
I think he was somewhere in the late 50s.
I don't think you want to look at that stat.
I think he was somewhere in the late 50s.
You don't want to look at that.
We don't want to look at that one. We don't want to look at that one because it doesn't help.
Yeah.
I just think like, no. It's not like I have him as a top like 24 receiver or anything like that. Like I'm like higher than consensus. I know. I definitely I've seen it, but it's like I don't.
In 2018, Allen Hurns was the Cowboys wide receiver 1. Allen Hurns is bad. Allen Hurns is a bad player. We know this, but some people decided to rank. Oh, I think a bee just attacked me. What is going on here? Some people decided to rank him in the top 30 because the Cowboys had nobody else. And then, of course, predictably, in the middle of the season, Michael Gallup started to emerge. They traded for Amari Cooper, and Allen Hurns, I think, had 200 yards. Why? Because he's bad. This is the same thing. So you can rank him wherever you like, but I'll rank bad players, which he is bad. Where, I'm already giving him 30 spots over how talented I think he is. And honestly, I think it's generous. I don't think he should be playing majority of snaps for any team. I mean, he looked terrible. The only thing he was good at is blocking, nothing else. So I just don't understand. So yeah, I'll rank him with consensus.
I watched him go round 4 in a best ball last night. I nearly fell off my chair.
All right, I'm not advocating for anything like that. I'm saying I'm honestly more surprised than anything that he's not at least like at the end of wide receiver 3 territory, just knowing what's happening in that situation.
He will be now after the Rodgers hype.
Yeah, but we've heard it for a week or two now where Rodgers is saying he's the guy, he's number 1 and stuff, and I don't think he's really risen that much. Yeah, Hall of Famer. Oh my goodness. All right. Unfortunately, I do have to go. But like I've said before, I got one more week where I got to go a little bit early, but after that, I'll be here for the full ride. So,
all right.
Have
this has
fun.
Been a crazy show.
Yeah, no, it's been fun. So it's a bummer I got to leave, but thank you for listening. If you're here, don't forget to, like, subscribe, all that stuff we always say. It really means a lot, helps a lot. And have a great rest of the day, fellas.
You too. See you, bud.
Yeah.
Have a good one.
Peace.
All right, let's make it through the comments. I had put Julio Jones at the top of you put Julio Jones at the top of the show sheet, and we still haven't gotten there yet. So
that's okay.
Just gonna roll through the comments real quick. We love you too, Coop. You're the man.
Let's go, Coop.
I agree on this one.
Also, I'm gonna have to go in a bit, so you guys can. I feel bad because I literally So like the original point of all of this is that I wanted Hutch to essentially have a chance to be me, and replace me, and see how you did. And then, this recording the show from my phone has actually gone. I did not expect this to actually work because I don't even have
Wi-Fi. It worked for me 2 weeks ago. How did you not expect it to work?
But I'm pretty sure you had. Did you not have Wi-Fi?
No.
Oh, I thought you had Wi-Fi. Well, anyway, I'm being attacked by bees. It's a lot of things going on. And mosquitoes and bees, but yeah, no, I wanted Hutch to have a chance to be me, but we'll give you a chance to be me the next time I miss a show. Or actually, no, I've never missed a show, so it'll happen.
Hutch could start yelling at me as soon as you get off here.
Yeah, I'll allow it.
He'll go full blast.
Yeah. Every player he likes, failure.
Yes,
Failure.
You're learning.
Failure.
You're learning. No, I do.
I got it, Tyler.
While my audience is here, I want to say that I do think that Hutch has a good chance of being me someday. A lot more than me, because I'm 11 years older than you? I think you'll be way beyond me by the time you're my age. But I do anticipate, you'll have your own show someday.
I thought this was a foregone conclusion.
Oh, it is.
Okay.
No, it is. Like, to me, I see it essentially as a foregone conclusion. Just, because you're so great and starting so young. So, like, that's always the recipe for success in, like, anything, is when you start really young, you get those reps in early, and then by the time, you're ready to, like, really blossom, into that career, you have a huge experience advantage over your competition. And, like, believe me, I wish I did that. Like, I'm the old one on this show. I'm significantly older than Hutch and a few years older than Ryan and Conan as well. So, I wish I started, I think, when I was, Ryan's age now. So, I wish I had started when I was 15 or whatever. But yeah, I just, if you're here on this show watching, I've said this a couple of my videos when I thought I wasn't going to be here. I was like, just make sure, like, you treat Hutch like he's me and, like, kind of that and all that, and, like, give him, don't be mean to him. But yeah, no, I appreciate you, and you have a bright future. And I hope that the people watching this show heard that, because, I wouldn't say it if I didn't mean it.
That is true.
I do. I really do appreciate it. I really do. I mean, it really means a lot. Thank you, man.
See, it's funny. He's gonna have the opportunity to yell at me too, because there's a player that I really like on this show sheet, and there's the words "hype" right next to it.
Save it. Yeah, save it for when I'm gone.
I'm gonna save that one because How long have I been on that player, Tyler? 2-3 years. It's been a while.
Gibson?
Oh no!
No.
Oh no! No.
Yeah, I see you highlighting on the show
Ryan.
sheet, right?
Ryan, no.
we're gonna do this later.
Ryan, don't do this.
You put
Ryan,
that. You
don't
put
do
that
this.
down, but that was my
on there.
flag plant.
I put that on there because I was going to blast
I
the
just
shit out
deleted
of
it.
Ryan.
I
I
deleted
was
it
gonna
off the
blast
doc.
the shit out.
We're talking about it.
I just
No,
deleted
no.
it off
Has
the
been
doc.
solid.
No, it can't be deleted. It can't be
I
deleted.
deleted it already. It's gone.
No, it can't be deleted. Ryan has to face the music.
I undid it.
I've been facing the music on these players for I don't know
man.
how
Not as
long.
much as you face the music on Antonio Gibson.
Oh.
Nothing will be as bad as that.
Dude, I had him
Oh,
at
yeah,
Dynasty
nothing will be as bad
RB2, and I just own that failure.
Yeah.
You have him as your Dynasty RB2
Hat,
right now.
hat.
It's funny. It's
Okay.
funny.
No, he's like low 1, high 2 now.
I never seem to have to face the music for anything. Like somehow I just get away with it. No one ever remembers. It's also very helpful that my two high profile guys that I hated last year were Wentz and Juju. That helps.
That works. I always remind
But-
myself when I need to be humbled that I had Robert Woods over Cooper Kupp last year. That's when
So
I
did
need to
I.
be humbled.
Guilty.
It's
I did it too.
such high hopes, but yeah, we get into the next extension actually. The Debo extension. You talked about this last night. Another
I
on
did.
the road.
Yeah, I did.
Wait, I'm out of order here. We need to get to the comments first.
Yeah.
I'm not used to this. Usually you're pulling them all up. So where would you go for the wide receiver on the Jags outside of Kirk? Is anyone else worth rostering?
No.
I believe yes. I want to hear your guys' opinions first.
No.
Is it? We're talking Dynasty, right?
I believe so.
I would assume Dynasty. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, no.
No.
No. I want it because the thing is, like, I want to say Trevor Lawrence is gonna have a big breakout, but who is he going to break out with? Like, outside of maybe Christian Kirk, like, and maybe Travis Etienne as a pass catcher. Like, I don't know. Like, there's just nobody that I believe in as a talent.
If Trevor Lawrence runs like he did in college,
Yeah,
and
absolutely, there can be. Yeah,
Christian Kirk
is
is decent, and then I think it's the kind of thing though where like this is to me is going to be Kirk, Etienne, Robinson maybe on the ground if he comes back. Maybe by midseason he'll be in good form. And then the other ones is just going to be spread around. Like Lawrence wasn't bad like in terms of total stats last year. Efficiency was garbage, but he actually put up a reasonable number of passing yards for a rookie. He just has to not turn the ball over and be more accurate.
He put up 10 touchdowns and 17 interceptions. Like, it was bad.
No, the yardage. He did pass a significant. He passed a lot. He just did it badly. So it's not a volume issue. It's not like they didn't give him the opportunity. He didn't have the opportunity to pass the ball. It's not like the attempts were not there. The attempts were there. So if he can just be better, it'll be fine. But yeah, I just think that this is another one of those situations. It's like, yeah, I can believe in Lawrence, and I think Kirk is actually very underrated, but I'm not going to be too in on the other weapons because I think it's just going to mostly be spread around. Zay Jones is going to be their outside guy. Or rotate into the slot or whatever. But he's gonna be there. He's gonna be a field stretcher, just like Nelson Aguilar.
I don't think any of these guys are gonna be worth rostering outside of Kirk because I think it's just gonna be like a merry-go-round every week of who has like 5 targets, 4 catches. Like it's kind of gonna be like that every week, and it's just maybe in best ball one of them. I don't know if you're that deep in best ball, but otherwise in Dynasty, no. Like,
and also, I mean, Evan Ingram is still there, and I don't think that Evan Ingram is going to be. No, don't hear what I'm not saying. Like, I don't think Evan Ingram is going to be fantasy viable, but I think that they paid him $10 million. I think they're going to try to use him poorly. That he's going to perform poorly, but he'll still get targets because they paid him. And I don't rank Evan Ingram at tight end 30. I rank him at like 19 or so. It's like I think he's like okay. Right, but his presence, they paid someone to come in, $10 million, who cannot block to save his life. So just add him to the confusion. Like, add him to there's him, Zay Jones, there's Chenault. Marvin Jones is still there. Don't forget about that. Marvin Jones is still there. So you're not going to be able to use or trust anyone beyond Kirk.
No, not on a consistent basis.
No, but if you're playing fantasy, you have to know. And I don't do a lot of best ball, so I'm usually talking from me. When I'm talking about fantasy, I'm talking about a league you can start playing. You have to pick your lineup. And
Yeah.
you're not going to be able to start any of these players. You can't trust them.
No,
You don't know when the points are going to come. And that does remind me, though. Start Sit is coming soon. I'm doing that this year.
Sweet.
Sunday mornings on DLF.
Sunday morning.
Yep. Hasn't really been very publicized, but, you know, it is what it is.
Yeah, as we get closer to the season, it will be. We just hit August.
Well, no,
so.
I mean, it hasn't really been very publicized by me. I have not publicized it. I made the decision with Addison that I was going to do the show a while ago, but I just haven't. I don't think I've put myself out there, talked about it much because it is what it is. There's no point in talking about it in advance. But yeah, I will be doing that. And I believe the plan is to start at 11:30 a.m. Eastern every Sunday, and it's going to be a half-hour show. But if it needs to be longer, it can be longer.
I have a feeling it will be.
No, I don't think so because I'm going to be solo. And when I'm solo, I go through things a lot faster.
That is true.
So I don't think so. I don't think it's going to be that long. And I'm not taking in advanced questions. Either.
Oh, well, then I didn't know that.
Only taking live questions. So, that show, I basically see it as like, that show is only going to be live questions. If there's enough live questions to do the show, I'll keep doing it. If people aren't interested, then the show probably won't continue. But it's like an experiment to start. But I've committed to do all the shows if it's success. But if it fails, I'll just be like, well, you know, it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's the best ball player in me going back to this question, but I've been picking Zay Jones in the last round every time. We expect the offense to be better. I mean, they gave him a good contract, 3 years, $24 million, 14 guaranteed. I mean, there's worse dart throws that you could take in drafts.
That's true.
So he's going to start, and if Trevor Lawrence is what we think Trevor Lawrence is, someone has to be good besides Christian Kirk and Travis Etienne, right? Why not Zay Jones?
I just don't think
there goes Tyler.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's going to be good. I think there will be some weeks where these guys do perform, but it just won't be on a consistent basis. And in a redraft / dynasty format where it's not best ball, I just don't think there's a world where you can trust any of them in your lineup any week.
I agree with that one. I guess I'm speaking from the best ball player in me.
Yeah.
Coop says Sutton at 14, you say?
Since he wears number 14, I guess.
He wears number 14, the Coop rankings.
Yeah.
At opportunity, rather have Tim Patrick or KJ Hamler. KJ Hamler was actually activated off the PUP today.
Yeah, that was interesting to see. Yeah, I love Tim Patrick in drafts. I love Tim. Oh, Tyler's back. I love Tim Patrick in drafts. Quote Sutton in drafts and love, and Jerry Judy I'm cool with. And KJ Hamler's a way like late dart throw. I'm not mad at that. Like I like every piece of this offense. I want this offense.
Yeah, I mean Tim Patrick at cost is fantastic. He seems underappreciated. He's one of the more underappreciated players in fantasy for what he does.
Yeah, definitely.
And NFL in general. Tyler, you have any thoughts on Tim Patrick or KJ Hamler?
They're both a waste of time.
Ooh, interesting.
Same.
They're roster bloggers.
Thoughts on Terence Marshall this season?
I don't think Baker Mayfield's going to be able to produce any other fancy relevant receivers besides DJ Moore. And Christian McCaffrey in the backfield stealing targets. I just don't see a world where there's going to be enough room with the Baker Mayfield-led offense for Terence Marshall to have consistent fantasy success. So I would say not really in.
Yeah,
I'm not really in either.
This was another one of my big misses from last season's draft. I had him way higher than consensus. I thought like
you.
I've never been too in on him as a talent. I've never been in.
Luckily, I saved myself and I had Elijah Moore over him, so bailed myself out there. But
we won't take your analyst card away.
not yet.
Not yet.
And never a doubt. And then that's the end of the comments. We're catching up. We got Debo's extension now. He got paid too.
Yeah. I talked about it in the video.
Yeah.
It's a good video. I suggest you watch it. 9 minutes long.
Go find it.
Yeah,
on this channel.
Down below. But yeah, I mean, I said it hurt Brandon Ayuk in the comments a good bit.
I said no, right? I don't think it kills Brandon Ayuk because I feel like this is what we should have expected. I feel like we should have expected the 49ers to eventually sign Debo to a big contract. So Brandon Ayuk obviously definitely hurts him a little bit, but I feel like Debo's still going to be used as a running back this year. Not full as a running back. I think he'll still get some good passing work. I think it'll be somewhere in the middle of where we saw last year because the first half Debo was like unbelievable as a receiver, and the second half Debo, he was barely.
It was
used.
weird. He was a superstar in both halves for two different reasons.
Yes.
But anyway,
because in the second half, Brandon Ayuk out targeted him, out caught him, out receiving yarded him. I know that's not the right words. But he I know it's not, but I just, you know what I mean. But he just and as a receiver, you just straight up outproduced him. And yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's gonna be really interesting to see I'm really interested by Brandon Ayuk this year for fantasy.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I have to go. I may or may not be back depending on how long you guys are actually going. I may or may not pop back in, but if not, I appreciate Hutch for taking my place from now on, and then I appreciate everyone for watching. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And just I love you all. And if I don't come back, I will see you tomorrow night at 9 p.m. on STLF. Anyway, peace.
See ya.
As soon as I figure out how to leave.
just close the Safari. You got this.
There you go.
All right. So anything left with Debo? I mean, the sky's the limit for Trey Lance, of course.
Trey Lance is my quarterback. Trey Lance is my quarterback 7 right now for redraft.
You're more bullish on him than I am.
What?
You're higher than him than I am.
Yes. I am very Josh Allen, Justin Herbert, Jalen Hurts, Kyler Murray, Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes. Those 6 I have ahead, and then it's Trey Lance. And I am not Russell Wilson I love for this year, not ahead of Trey Lance. Joe Burrow, not ahead of Trey Lance. Dak Prescott, not ahead. Tom Brady, Matthew Stafford, Derek Carr. Nope, I like Trey Lance over all those guys. And I want to put Trey Lance in the top 6 so bad. I just can't find someone to put him over. I just can't find someone to put him over because those guys are just absolute studs. And a lot of them, for the same reason Trey Lance is, it's because he's a runner. Because like Lamar Jackson, you look at Kyler Murray, you look at Jalen Hurts, like those guys are runners. And I want to put Trey Lance over those guys, but I just can't because it would just be dumb. Like that's just stupid at that point. So Trey Lance, but he's my quarterback 7. Outside that's those studs 6 guys, it's Trey Lance all day. I'm not thinking
I have him at 11, and I want to move him up over Russell Wilson and Matt Stafford. So, I'm not out on Trey Lance.
Top 12 for me right now. Matt Stafford's my quarterback 13.
That's basically the top 12.
Basically, but he's still not.
We'll count it. I had Trey Lance in his own tier too because I didn't know where to rank him when I initially did these.
Yeah, he's in my third tier. Like Josh Allen, Justin Herbert are in their own tier for me. Then Jalen Hurts, Murray, Jackson, Mahomes, and then Trey Lance starts off tier 3. And then he's in there with Russell Wilson, Joe Burrow, Derek Carr, and Dak Prescott.
Watch the film. Lance number 5. Yep, Coop, we know. But I mean, that offense could be crazy good. I also want to touch on we're talking about the 49ers.
I love the 49ers offense for this year, except Elijah Mitchell. Their backfield is the worst. I hate their backfield.
I was just about to bring up Elijah Mitchell because he's getting all the first team reps in camp. I know, count that for what you will. I believe he has 18 of 21 they're at right now, at least last I checked.
Okay, that's pretty good.
I mean, 6th round ADP, I'll take a stab, but Michael Thomas there, I'd rather.
Yeah, it's interesting because his injury risks and the committee risk are baked into his ADP right now. Because when he was on the field for fantasy, he was a great fantasy asset. He was a top 15 running back when he was on the field for fantasy. He was great. But in the 6th round, I feel like he's just the perfect dead zone running back. A guy who has a lot of injury concern, a guy who's probably going to get stuck in a committee, no pass catching work whatsoever. If Trey Lance sees pressure, he's not throwing a freaking running back. He's running. And Elijah Mitchell's not a pass catching running back. He's not a guy that's ever caught passes very well. He's going to be somebody that doesn't see a lot of passing work. He's going to be dependent on explosive runs and touchdowns. And I don't want to draft a running back like that for fantasy. That's just not someone I want to be a part of. So Elijah Mitchell, if he falls in the 7th rounds, maybe potentially I'll look at him. But I say Tyrion Davis-Price in the 17th round, and I'm like, yes, that is the guy. That is the guy I want. Tyrion Davis-Price is the guy I'm going after. I find me drafting him in almost every draft I'm in.
I mean, with those dead zone running backs, except for maybe A.J. Dillon, you want the cheapest in the committee.
A.J. Dillon is the one I want. I like Breece Hall. Breece Hall and A.J. Dillon.
I don't think Breece Is Breece Hall in the dead zone? At least not for
He's
best
in the
ball.
4th round. In most drafts, I see him going in the 4th round.
I didn't consider that the dead zone. So yeah, I guess he is.
Yeah, because
where do you have him?
4 to 6, right? Breece Hall.
Yeah,
he's my RB9. I'm all in.
I respect that. I'm not that high, but
he's my
the
guy.
talent's there, the situation's there, the opportunity's there. The offense needs to get better, but I have him at RB11, so I'm with you on the RB1 train.
You're like right there. Yeah, you're right there.
Close. I mean, I think he's going to be the steal of the draft when we look back, in December.
Yeah, because, I mean, Luke Sawhooks brought up this stat multiple times. I credit him for finding this, but over the past 5 seasons, there has been, in 4 of the past 5 seasons, there's been at least one rookie running back to finish in the top 6 in PPR scoring for fantasy football. If you're going to bet on one running back to do that this year, I mean, there's no way it's not Breece Hall. You have to bet on Breece Hall to do that. Kenneth Walker, in a horrific offense, not a pass catcher, still has to deal with Rashad Penny, who's looking really good in camp right now, according to most reports I'm hearing. And then the rest of the running backs, whatever, we don't care about them. And then Breece Hall, set up to be the workhorse back from week 1 as long as he could beat out Michael Carter in a Jets offense that's super young, hyper talented, with a rising quarterback in Zach Wilson, who could have a really nice breakout season. I love Elijah Moore for this year. Like I'm in on this Jets offense. Elijah Moore is a top 20 receiver for me. Breece Hall's a top 10 running back. Zach Wilson I like as a breakout candidate. Like I'm in on this Jets offense right now.
I'm glad we agree on this one because I'm in as well.
I hate to say it too, Jets, because it's the Jets and it's gross. But I just can't stop drafting Elijah Moore and Breece Hall.
I totally agree with you there. If DraftKings had a best ball exposure thing, I think Elijah Moore and Breece Hall would be the top 2 players on my exposure sheet. To be quite honest,
yeah.
Round 8 for Elijah Moore. If you're doing this in redraft and he goes around there, it's such a smash.
Round 8. Oh my goodness, it's easy. Just auto pick. It's just an auto pick.
He was the wide receiver 3 for like the time he played last year, except the first 2 games where he didn't get the snap share. But
easy money. Yeah.
If Zach Wilson improves, this offense is gonna be really good. It's just if Zach
Wilson could play like average NFL quarterback play, this offense could be like
he was the worst last year. He was statistically the worst.
Yeah, he was just like the worst. Watching him play was awful. Statistically, he was awful. Everything about Zach Wilson was awful last year.
I was looking at the advanced metrics. I said this last week, but lowest in completion over percentage expected and lowest estimated points at it. So, that's not good. James Washington was just carted off the practice field with a right leg injury.
Who?
James Washington, wide receiver for the Cowboys.
Oh, James Washington. Yeah, gotcha. Sorry. I actually didn't hear you. You said, I thought you said like James Carter. I was like, what?
Nah.
But no, James Washington. Oh, shoot. That stinks.
That's a big blow because Michael Gallup is not going to be ready for the start of the season.
Tolbert's a rookie. We don't know what he's going to do. This wide receiver core for the Cowboys is looking scarier and scarier, and it's making me like Jalen Tolbert more and more because I've never been in on Jalen Tolbert as a talent. Like I've never been like super in on him, but the opportunity is going to be there. Like there's just nobody else in this Cowboys receiving core. There's nobody outside of CeeDee Lamb. That's it. Like
can't get all the targets. I mean, Dalton Schultz will get a good amount, but
Dalton Schultz will get a good amount too. But like,
there's always been a third guy in Dallas.
Yeah, there's always a third guy in Dallas. This is a good opportunity here. I think we got a comment.
He's looking like Jalen Tolbert. So
yeah,
I think we're done talking about Drew Lock, Coop.
Yeah,
we don't need any more.
No.
Is there a world where Kittle gets 8 to 10 targets a game? I think he could beast out since they want him out there blocking all situations. I mean,
I think he could if Trey Lance really gets that connection with him because George Kittle is a very fun guy. He's a guy that everyone loves on the team. If Trey Lance, a young quarterback, usually love their tight ends. If he can get a connection with him quickly, man, I think Trey Lance could have a great connection with George Kittle. I could see like 8 targets a game. I've loved George Kittle when he falls in the drafts. Like I see him go in the 4th round. I got him in the 5th round in the Scott Fish Bowl.
Wow.
Which is a tight end premium.
Format?
In a tight end premium where tight ends get points for first downs and extra points for catches. I got him in the 5th round. And I was just like, what? It's ridiculous.
People are sleeping.
Way too far. He's going to get hurt, probably going to miss a few games because that's just what he does. Because he plays he's just so fun to watch, but he plays way too aggressive. He puts his body out way too much on the field, but he's so fun to watch play. when he's on the field, he's an absolute stud. And I think Trey Lance and him are gonna have a nice connection.
I definitely agree. I can't believe Darren Waller is going over him right now. I mean,
yeah, that's crazy. That's
one of them got a huge
insane.
target share at it, and one of them didn't. It's just a new QB.
Exactly.
I'm in on George Kittle, especially at ADP. I think he could finish as a dark horse tight end one. We know that though, like the tight end one.
Yeah, the tight end one. Yeah, I think he could be there.
It's in his range of outcomes, and I don't think his ADP reflects that. So
no, it doesn't.
All right, what's up next? We talked about Debo. We talked about Deshaun Watson. Miles Sanders running with the twos. I don't know. You definitely know, but I don't know if the chat knows that.
I saw
draft him.
So yeah, he said not to draft him. I saw a video though with Nick Sirianni. They were interviewing him. He was saying, "Yeah, we're just rotating our guys through," and it just ended up. It was a little bit of a mistake in our lineup where it ended up Sanders got a little more of a twos today. But he said Sanders is our guy. We trust him as our number one. Like that's basically what Sirianni said in the interview. So I'm actually not fazed by this at all. I think Sanders is still the number one back, but I'm not in on Sanders for fantasy anyway because I think this is going to be a committee, and I don't think they like using Sanders in the red zone. So I'm not really in on Sanders for fantasy, even at his later cost right now.
I agree. It's just when someone says not to draft me, you don't draft them. Come on now, like.
Yeah, I know, but I feel like that could be taken so many different ways. I feel like they could be very like sarcastic or like very like. I feel like he could just be very sarcastic because of the way the fantasy industry has hated on him lately. I mean, Najee Harris was saying he doesn't give a crap about your fantasy team earlier in the offseason. Like he doesn't care. And then look what he did. He went off for fantasy. Like, right. He was amazing. But yeah, I didn't really dig much into that comment. I didn't really like believe it. Like I didn't really care about it at all.
Nah, I just needed to see him score a touchdown this year with 0
last year. We'll see one. I think we'll see one.
I hope we'll see one, but they haven't done him necessarily right coming out of Penn State. Like, you know,
no, they haven't.
It's just rough being a Birds fan and watching them. So I'm just getting reports here. I'm getting tweets that Mitch Trubisky has been basically told his job's a starting job to lose. So.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It is his starting job to lose. That is exactly what this situation is. Yeah, I'm trying to look at sleeper, see if there's any more on here. Brian Edwards with a shoulder injury day by day. So Edwards.
That was a hype train last year.
Yeah, that was a hype train. I
was on it.
Yeah, I was not.
I found myself falling victim to a lot of bad hype trains last year. Except Marquez Callaway. I was not on that one.
No, Marquez Callaway. Oh my goodness, that hype train.
That was a blast from
failure. What a failure that was.
Do you have a prediction for anyone who's going to be this year's Marquez Callaway? Because I know we could translate right into it because it's on the show sheet. But it looks like
Marquez Callaway. Oh my goodness.
I mean, it looks like Paris Campbell has a good shot.
Yeah, but people aren't. But like. We hype him up every year, and he just gets hurt.
I know.
This is Marquez.
It's really early to ask that question. So if you don't have an answer, it's
it is.
Because that was a preseason thing, wasn't it? That wasn't a training camp. That was a preseason.
No, that was a preseason thing. He was showing out in preseason. The Saints team needed a wide receiver one because Michael Thomas was still going to be out, and we just had no idea who it was. And people liked Marquez Callaway, and they just betted on him in drafts. I mean. Yeah, I don't know. That's a really tough question because
it's a tough question. We'll get more clarity as the preseason goes on.
Yeah,
that's starting up soon. So
yeah,
we'll get our answers. Hopefully, we'll be able to ship out some of those wide receivers for a first in this year's class. I've seen that. Yeah. But on to our next topic, we have Christian Watson missing time with a knee injury. This is not good.
Watson. Watson is just. I feel like Watson's going to have such an uphill battle for his NFL career for me. Like,
Matt LaFleur said it himself in those exact words.
Yeah, he's a second-round pick, small school. Oh, wait. Shoot, hold on a second. Sorry, small school, not much production. Oh, no. You got to be joking. Sorry.
Did you get a bad trade-off or something?
Can you – no. Can you hear me better right now?
It's still fine.
Okay.
Did your mic turn off?
No, I just looked over my computer, like the side of my computer. I realized, like I was drinking water here from this mug. I put the mug down and it accidentally unplugged my microphone. I don't know how long it's unplugged, but I just see my plug unplugged from the computer. I'm like,
That's the
crap.
worst feeling.
It's the worst feeling ever. And my computer didn't tell me. Oh my God. But whatever. Okay. What was I talking about? I was talking about, he's a Christian Watson, small school guy, not much production, 2nd round pick. You look back at history of small school 2nd round picks who are not very productive in college. That is not a good history. I mean, you want to give one good example. I mean, think about Jalen Reagor, who was actually a 1st round pick, should have been a 2nd round pick, but small school, not productive, and should have been a 2nd round pick. And the Eagles picked him in the 1st, and then look where he's at. I mean, he's fighting for a roster spot right now. He doesn't even have a
tweet today.
What?
See his tweet today? That stop telling lies about him dropping balls in practice.
No, I didn't see that at all.
I think it was John Clark that said he dropped the ball in practice, and Jalen Reagor's like, "Stop spreading lies, bro."
No way. Oh, that's amazing.
So,
yeah, all right, but anyway, yeah, I don't believe in Christian Watson very much as a talent. I mean, on the field he looks good, like he looks pretty good, but the small school little production is very scary to me. And now this injury, I feel like it's going to take him a long time to get acclimated to the NFL, if at all. So for this year, for fantasy especially, I am out. Like, I'm just done. I'm not drafting him.
yeah,
And rookie receivers don't earn the trust of Aaron Rodgers. Like, we just never see that. Rookie receivers don't do well with Aaron Rodgers. This is just not a good situation. This is just he's going so late, but I feel like this is just a wasted flyer pick. I feel like you're just wasting a pick when you're drafting Christian Watson, honestly.
I definitely agree. I mean, the difference between him and Jalen Reagor coming out of college was
much.
Reagor had a no-name quarterback that couldn't hit him to save his life. Like, I think his accuracy rating was like 57%, like the lowest in college. Christian Watson had Trey Lance there. So
yeah, he had Trey Lance there for a while. Yeah, he had a pretty good quarterback in college. And I mean, Trey Lance in college was like never throwing interceptions. Like, he throw like 28 touchdowns, 0 interceptions or something. Like, it was ridiculous. Like, he was an elite passer in college. Like, he was unbelievable. Christian Watson was still putting up like nothing, still putting up little numbers. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. Oh no, you're good. I always bring up the drops with Christian Watson. That was a big problem in college.
Drops as well. Yeah.
I know we stressed that with Jamar Chase in last preseason, but
yeah,
they're two different players. So let's get into Hollywood Brown's hamstring injury. Are you concerned about this, if at all?
I mean, it's got to be something you got to monitor, right? Because hamstring injuries, we've seen those linger on players and just hurt them for an entire season. We've seen that happen before. So you definitely got to keep an eye on it, see if he's practicing in full at any point. But right now, it doesn't worry me very much. It hasn't moved him in my redraft rankings at all, but definitely keep an eye on it because it's something to monitor.
Where do you have him in your redraft rankings?
He's at wide receiver 25 for me in PPR scoring. So I'm not crazy high on him. I'm not super high on him, but I do believe that at least for the first 6 games, he'll have a very solid impact for fantasy. And then when Hopkins comes back, I just don't see him making as big of an impact. So I'll definitely take my shots at the Hollywood. It's just not going to be someone I target crazy heavily.
Yeah, I believe I have. I'm looking to see exactly where I have him. I'm at 14.
Oh dang, yeah.
I'm in with the Kyler Murray connection. It's not the whole college thing. It's how good he was last year. He also had a hamstring injury coming into last season. I thought I had to bring that up. And he was fine. He played week 1, looked great. Then fell off once Lamar got hurt and Tyler Huntley came out there. But I'm not concerned. He's gonna be good.
Yeah, I'm not.
You're probably not gonna have much of him at his ADP because the ADP is
he's going. He's going a little bit above in the 4th. I haven't seen him go in the 4th round. Where are you playing fantasy where he's going in the 4th round? On Sleeper,
I need to stop relating best ball to actual fantasy. That's one thing I need to do.
Underdog makes it so much. Underdog fantasy is so much different because Gabe Davis goes in like the 4th round in those drafts. Like, the Underdog is a lot different. I usually use like Sleeper when I talk about ADP. Marquise Brown usually going in like the 5th, 6th round on sleepers drafts.
Yeah,
which is I'm fine with that. I'm totally fine with that.
Yeah,
like I'm not heavily against that. But usually there's guys going around him that I just like a little bit more. So I usually just pass on Marquise Brown, especially with the injury now. That the fact that could be a concern heading into this year. I'm a little bit I'll definitely take my shots because he's definitely a very talented wide receiver who has produced a lot for fantasy before. just not 100% confident in the health, number one, and in how many targets he'll really get when Hopkins comes back.
I definitely agree with you. I still think he's the number one over Hopkins when Hopkins returns.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I don't believe I mean, I think he could be the more talented wide receiver when Hopkins comes back, because I don't like Hopkins. I really don't know after using PEDs. After, he's like nearing 30 now. Like, is he falling off? I have no idea, but I don't think he's going to be used. Like, I feel like the Cardinals, if they have Hopkins, are going to use him like he's the number one.
That's fair. I just go along with the point that they traded such a valuable pick for Marquise Brown, but I guess that was to keep Kyler happy.
I guess so, yeah, because I feel like if they would have done nothing, because they got rid of Christian Kirk as well. So if they would have done nothing, he would have been left with like Rondale Moore
for 6 weeks of the season.
And like Zach Ertz. And no, they don't have Andy Isabella anymore.
Speaking of that,
like who else do they even have on the roster?
Wow. That's
who do they even have on the roster? Who tested positive? Sorry, I didn't hear you.
Kyler, as we're talking about him.
Oh, geez.
Wow.
Kyler. All right. I guess he's gonna miss a little bit, but
yeah, a little bit. Nothing's gonna change in rankings.
No, doesn't change anything.
I remember 2 years ago when it would change everything at that point. It happened like 2 weeks later.
Yeah, absolutely.
Crazy time for fantasy, but I think we covered Hollywood Brown.
Yeah,
well
definitely.
Enough.
Yeah, Hollywood.
All right, so Michael Gallup is not ready for week 1. I think this is something we knew.
Yes, I'm not surprised by this at all, and I'm still out on Gallup for fantasy, just not drafting.
He tore his ACL so late in the season.
Yeah.
It's hard to be ready for week 1.
Yeah, it's tough. It's just the timeline just doesn't add up. It just never has added up. It's not going to add up for him to be ready for week 1. It's sad because I love Michael Gallup. I think he's a very talented player. And I think there's multiple teams right now where he can be their number one receiver. But yeah, just not. This is probably not going to be the year for Michael Gallup.
I agree. I wrote down on my notes Jalen Tolbert or James Washington. It looks like it's going to be Jalen Tolbert now with James Washington's injury. And he's going to have a huge opportunity for the first half of the season.
Oh, yeah. This is going to be a huge opportunity. Yeah.
He's going to have to prove it early. I know Tyler was saying I will agree that he's a raw prospect, and he's going to have to be ready early. So it'll be interesting. Dalton Schultz probably is going to finish high again, top 6.
Yeah, Dalton Schultz I have as my tight end 4. Or no, tight end 5, sorry. Right behind.
You have him above Waller?
Yes, Waller's at 6.
I could get behind that. With the perceived volume, Devontae Adams is going to be a target hog, and I don't really see it from Waller. He'll still be good, though.
He'll still be okay, yeah, but he's he'll still be solid.
So now we're at the part of the show sheet that we're probably going to argue over. The Paris Campbell hype.
Yeah,
this is a flag plant that I was doing for 2-3 years ever since he got drafted. I was in last year.
You were 16.
Yeah.
Where is he in your? No, he's not. Wait, where is he in your rankings for this year?
Oh, 16. Oh gosh, no. You said
yeah.
Would you say? Oh gosh, no. I'm not that in on Paris Campbell. He's in the 40s.
Okay.
He's like 45. No. It's a flag plant, but it's not like high. Paris Campbell's going to be a top 15.
That's high. That's high.
It is high. He's going in like the 70s probably right now, 60s, 70s.
Yeah, that's probably where he's going. That's probably where I'll probably have him ranked in the 200s. I'll have him ranked Infinity.
See, that's
I'm
fair,
done.
But
I'm done. It's happened. We've done this roller coaster ride every year. It just doesn't happen.
This is the year, though, Hutch. This is the year.
This is the year. No, it's not. I believe they drafted Alec Pierce for a reason. I think he's going to be involved. They re-signed Malik Cox. I think he's going to be decently involved. I don't think there's going to be enough room for Paris Campbell to make an impact.
See, I get it. And then I'll say this, and I'll go on my Twitter feed and look at the training camp videos, which are just nuts. I'm just connecting with Matt Ryan. I mean, I think he's going to have a better season than he would have with Carson Wentz. That's for sure.
Yes, I think he has a better opportunity to have a good season with Matt Ryan rather than Carson Wentz. But I don't see him staying on the field. I don't see I see other players being better than him.
See, I see it as They have Alec Pierce on one side, and then Michael Pittman on the other, and then Paris Campbell will get to play that slot role, and he'll be effective with Jonathan Taylor taking a lot of attention. I've been in since the start. I'm not hopping off the bandwagon just yet. Tyler will roast me next week for this.
He will.
But we have 2 more to go. Also, we appreciate you, Liam, for subscribing.
Let's go.
Leave a comment if you have any other questions. We'll get right to them. But Mike Gesicki is not being involved in the passing game early in training camp, which I find interesting but not surprising.
No, it's not surprising. It's not. Yeah, Mike Gesicki is someone that, for fantasy, he is the perfect middle round tight end where it's like he's the third option on the team, and he's talented, but he's a third option on the team, an offense with a questionable quarterback, not the same coaching staff that invested in him. Like, I just don't believe at all in Mike Gesicki, and I don't think he's going to be used properly. I don't think he's going to be used a lot in this offense. I really don't.
I think properly is the right word as well, because he's a receiving tight end. He's not a blocker like George Kittle.
He's not. He's not even the guy that blocks. Yeah. I see them. Sorry, go ahead.
Mike McDaniel's going to use them the same. So.
Yeah. It's just not. Yeah. I saw, even there were times last year where I watched him block and I was like, why are they having him blocking? I know the offensive line sucks and they need help back there, but you still can't have this guy blocking. He's not a blocking tight end. It's not what he does. He goes up there and makes amazing athletic catches, one-armed catches. That's what he does. He's just not going to be used that way this year. I really don't see it. And this is last year with contracts, like his rookie contract. I see him potentially moving on from the team next offseason. Like, yeah, I don't see Mike Gesicki. Or did they franchise tag him?
They franchised him.
Right? Yeah, so he might be. Yeah. So he would be still with the team next year. Sorry,
they franchised him for this year. I'm pretty sure
they franchised him for this. Oh, for this year.
Yeah, because he wasn't a first, so it was 4-year contract.
Yes, it wasn't. Yeah,
I remember all offseason. I'm like, I hope he leaves. I hope he goes somewhere that'll use him right, and then they franchised him.
Yes. Yeah, I forgot about that. Dang. But yeah, after this,
it's been a long offseason.
Yeah, it's been a long offseason. A lot of stuff's going on. So after next year, he'll be a free agent, right? Then after this year, he'll be a free agent.
After this year, hopefully he'll go somewhere better.
Yeah, I think he'll move on. I think after this year, he's done with Miami.
They can't franchise him again at that increased rate, right? No, there's no way.
No, they can't. No.
That's before they had Tyreek Hill too. So.
Yeah, that was before Tyreek Hill and Cedric Wilson.
That is also true. Cedric Wilson will be playing this slot. It's just when I watch, I'm local to PA, so I've watched a lot of Penn State games, throughout the years.
Yeah.
Like Mike Gesicki is just not a blocker. He's not.
He's not. He's a receiving tight end.
Go look at his player profiler, and you'll see they're not using him right.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, and we have one more topic to get to before we close out the show today, and it's Van Jefferson's knee issues. I feel bad. It looks like he's heading for another knee surgery. I think it was Adam tweeted out today. I believe that's correct. I'm just bummed.
Yeah, that sucks. It really does, because like Van Jefferson's someone that I actually thought had a lot of potential this year with OBJ gone, with Robert Woods gone in this offense still. Like, it's still a great offense. Matthew Stafford's a great quarterback. We saw Van Jefferson flash at times, especially late in the season last year. And I was just really hoping that, man, maybe he can make an impact this year. And yeah, another surgery on his knees, that's gonna crush him.
Yeah, I say in terms of dynasty value, just get what you can at this point. It stinks.
Yep,
but
it really.
You didn't put much draft stock into him either. He's a third rounder.
Yeah, I think you. Let me fact check that real quick. I think he was
he was a second rounder in drafts, but I'm talking rookie drafts. He was a third rounder.
Oh yeah, in rookie drafts, yeah,
he was firmly in the third.
Yes, he was in the third round. He was not a high rookie draft pick.
Mm-hmm. And I believe I heard this in that same tweet that Ben Skoranek is the favorite to overtake him on the depth chart instead of Tutu Atwell. So that just tells you everything you need to know
about Tutu Atwell.
Yeah,
Tutu Atwell. What a draft pick.
What a second round pick.
What a second round pick, Tutu Atwell. Oh,
goodness gracious.
That pick, when I
when I saw that live, that pick, it was just, it was hilarious.
I couldn't believe it.
I
still
could
can't
not.
believe it.
He is the base. He's very close to my height and weight. Like I think that when he got drafted, he was like 5 pounds heavier than me. And like I was a couple inches taller than him. Like I was like basically his size. It was hilarious.
That's great.
That was
you
a
should try
year
it for the Rams, Hutch.
Yes, I that's exactly what I tweeted, and it like blew up a little bit. I said I put up both our sides that said maybe I'll get drafted by the Rams next round. What do y'all think? It was amazing.
Well, they didn't take you, so they wasted a selection. So
no, they didn't. They wasted a pick. Come on, Rams. I mean, I'm right here.
Come on, Rams. They don't have a lot of draft picks, but at least pick Hutch.
They don't have.
I think that does it here. If there's anything else you want to bring up, training camp news wise, injuries, anything you're working on as well, we get to that.
I mean, George Pickens has been crazy at camps. I love George Pickens. Always loved his talent. I think he can make a huge impact this year. And that actually concerns me with Deontay Johnson's future as a Steeler. If George Pickens is really showing out, Chase Claypool's playing solid, Pat Freiermuth is good, Najee Harris is good, I could see a world where Deontay Johnson is demanding money, doesn't get it, and is traded mid-season by the Pittsburgh Steelers to another team.
Do the Steelers ever pay wide receivers money? I mean, they
No,
let
they
Mike
don't.
Wallace go.
They don't ever do it. And Deontay's going to, after seeing Debo and DK get what they got, he's going to be demanding $20+ million a year, and they're not going to give it to him.
They're definitely not. They always do this. It's always churn out and replace Mike Wallace, Antonio Brown, Juju now.
Juju, yep, exactly.
There's a long history.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
If Chase Claypool plays well, which that's a big if at this point with the shoulder injury.
Yes,
it's not major, but it happened. So you just have to keep an eye on it. But I agree with you. I could see Deontay being a midseason trade candidate.
Yeah, he could definitely be traded. Someone posted on Twitter, I can't remember who it was. Someone posted that they were dreaming of him being traded to the Packers. That would be awesome. Imagine that. Deontay, like if the Packers receivers really are struggling, if Allen Lazard really just doesn't pan out and all the Packers receivers are struggling, bring in Deontay Johnson, clear number one target for Aaron Rodgers. That would be nice.
That'd be disgusting. I don't know how high we'd rank him in Dynasty or redraft.
Oh my God, he would be insanely high
because
he'd be
he
so
could
high.
confidently take Devontae Adams' target share. Like he's one of the few players that could do it.
Yeah, he could do it. He could do it. He could absolutely take that target share because I mean he basically did it in Pittsburgh. Like he was right there, like right behind Devontae Adams in target share and targets. Like he was right there. So that absolutely happened.
That would be absolutely unreal.
That would be awesome.
It makes too much sense, so that means it's not going to happen.
Yes, it makes too much sense. Yeah. Oh,
but I think that does it here for us on our Monday show. Anything you want to plug? Obviously, follow him on Twitter. I got the hands right this time. He's a future fantasy star. Well, he's a fantasy star now, but he's going to be even more of one in the future.
No, I appreciate it, man. Thank you. But yeah, you guys can go follow me on Twitter at HutchinsonB_FF. It's the handle right here in my username here on the stream. And then go follow me on TikTok at Hutchinson Brown.
Yes.
And check out Hutchinson Brown's Fantasy Football Perspective, my podcast that I run, and all my other content, my Football Guys videos, and my articles I write for DLF, and all the content here I do for DLF on their YouTube channel as well. You can find me. You can find pretty much everything I do in my Twitter on my Twitter page. So just go over there, check it out, follow me, and then just find all my content I do. I appreciate it.
Yep.
And I'm always yeah, appreciate it, man. And I'm always open on Twitter 24/7. If you got DMs, you got questions, just DM me. I'm always open to questions. I love it.
Yeah. Pleasure having you on the show, Hutch. You guys know obviously where to find me. I'll be here every week. But that does it for us. Thank you for coming on once more. It was fantastic having you on. Fantastic talking training camp stuff. And you'll definitely be on here again soon. So
oh yeah. Definitely.
That does it for us, and we'll see you guys next week. Peace.